Hello everyone, Sunset2, and welcome to another mod overview, this time on Kibe, a mod that simply adds in a bunch of different features. So, you've got things like the Entangled Chests for connecting between them for different channels, as well as them obviously working across dimensions and storing the same items as long as they are the same colour. You have Cursed Dirt, which can spawn mobs. It obviously burns when exposed to sunlight, and yeah, it spreads quite quickly, as you can tell there, just after placing one of them. So you've got some cursed seeds, obviously, and then it turns into cursed dirt. You've got elevators, which are different colours, as also allow you to go up and down from different elevators to go up floors or something, so you can vertically ascend or descend. You've got vacuum hoppers, which can collect things like XP, as well as dropped items. We have also slime boots and slime slings for making players move around, having damage negated, and so on. There's a bunch of other things like rings, lassos, kibes, belts, and more that we'll cover, of course. So, yeah. So, first up, we'll cover the redstone timer, made simply with repeaters, stone, redstone dust, and a torch. And what this does is pretty much gives out a signal every so often. So let's get some dust, for example. This will constantly keep giving us redstone, but there's obviously a delay. So we can just right-click this, and it'll push it around, and it'll either have the signal at full strength, or have it completely turned off. So yeah, you can set a delay for as long as possible, and longer than even repeaters, I'm assuming. So yeah, there's that. I don't know if we can actually control this with, say, a lever or something. I assume we cannot, no. Unless there's like something else you can do to sort of change it to apply to the timer, but for the most part I'm assuming it doesn't. We have spikes made with swords and slabs, like so, and an upgrade with diamond swords. So there's that. These pretty much obviously have entities drop regular items, whilst the diamond one drops experience orbs as well as player only items. I'm assuming we should try some mobs as well, but my guess is it's mostly more so intended for players as a trap. So we'll just spawn this in if we can. And they actually are defeated quite easily. Obviously don't have something like orderly to actually display the health, so I'm not really too sure how much they do. But I guess it's maybe similar to an iron sword of something like 6 damage. We'll try on diamond, and we'll see if they also can drop experience and such. Other drops. Yep, so they can still. So these definitely do work, they're not just player specific. So there's that. And I'll actually test, after I put the stuff in a chest, what actually happens with players and what they drop. We'll want these boots as well to go here. We'll just put, say, some flesh in our inventory or something. Or we'll just fill our inventory with a ton of junk, because why not? We don't really need to worry. We'll just see what gets picked up, of course. And see how much damage is also applied when we're on these. So, 3 hearts there. And we'll just wait for this to increase. We can have it. Maybe I need to, actually we can't, so that's fine. Okay. Here we go. So there's that. We'll just fill it up with something else, and we'll see. So 3.5 or so each time, and if we just do that, we can see our stuff dropping everywhere. So my guess is just gonna obviously have us have dropped everything, but it's not gonna destroy anything afterwards. Most likely, it doesn't destroy the drops. You can sneak on these also as well, which is interesting. I didn't actually expect that. So be certain things stacked, or otherwise I'm not sure. Actually, so it doesn't destroy it. Okay. So there's that. Moving on, we have the Entangled Chests, which are made from blaze rods, Eyes of Ender, an Ender Chest, stone bricks, and gold. And you obviously need 2 of these. And there is also the, if I can find it, Entangled Bag, with just an Entangled Chest and leather surrounding it. So, the chest looks like so. This is what happens when you open it. Has a bit of an animation for the lid. We just put something in here, for example. You'll see it also in the other chest because it has that white wool colour on the top, or pattern. So if we want to change these, we'll want to use runes, not dyes. So yeah, we'll actually get a dye and demonstrate though. We just get red, for example. We'll just try and shift. It's not going to do anything, or sneak I should say. So it's not going to do anything there. And if we actually check, don't think, no, so there's nothing to do with wool in the recipe either, so you can't change it that way. But we just say, for example, right click here, it doesn't consume it. But it's now got a completely different inventory. We'll put, say, some orange wool in here. We'll add this one, and it's a completely different inventory yet again. And you can see which runes of a certain colour you've got here as well. If you don't see it on the top, you can see it in the inventory. So there's that, and then we obviously apply the other one, not that one of course, I want it to that side, which will apply it here. We can see, okay, maybe it might be a bit tricky to work with. Right, I'm doing it like that, that's why. That's not what I want, so here we go. Now it's got, I assume, a similar inventory. There we go. Yeah, it sort of shifts to both sides. It also has these sort of stick up the closer you are to it as well, which I've noticed, which is quite a nice touch. But yeah, if you want to have different inventories to do certain things, say with a quarry, or one that you're mining in, one that's for harvesting trees and so on, you can do that. And if we actually get the bag, we should be able to see the jungle wood that was there for the original colour pattern channel that we had before. Next we have elevators, which are simply made like so, or if you have an existing one and you want to change the colour, you just use a dye next to it. But yeah, so wool, iron, piston, and ender pearl. And yeah, it's nice to obviously transport yourself vertically, either up or down. So if we just go here, which we're currently at 67, we press space, we can ascend, and obviously it only goes up to world limit in terms of the blocks that we can place this at. If we go down, and then down again, we've obviously got it set to 1. Just go into creative, break this, go down, like so. So you can see that it doesn't technically have a limit. The only limit really is the block height that you've got it set to, or as a restriction, pretty much. So if you, for example, maybe had it to 512, I would assume it would still work fine. But there's no like 16 block limit or something. It's only just the block height limit that you're dealing with there. So no problem with that. When it comes to blocks in the way, or using other elevators, so we just do this, and we look up, or just sort of do this, you can see that the blocks in the way don't matter. So if you've got a separate floor, for example, and you don't have this sort of sticking out of the floor, then yeah, it'll still work perfectly fine. Trying to think of what I would do there, so say wool around it or something, because we had a wool flooring or a carpet flooring or something, it would work perfectly fine, even if we had this pushed up a bit, for example, and that was underneath, so no problem with that, as you can see there. When it comes to different elevators, of course, yeah, that's where it's not going to work, so regardless, if it's not the same colour, it's not going to work. If it's the same colour, it'll work perfectly fine. So there's that. Moving on though, we have the trash can, made from stone bricks, a cactus, and stone, along with a chest. And you pretty much just place this in the world, and there's just a single slot. So we just put, say, some runes in here, it'll void it instantly. If we get a hopper, and send these in, you won't even see it go into the slots. This is going to be removing things. So if you don't want cobble, you don't want this, that, and the other, and you don't want things to be thrown into lava or a cactus or something, you've got this as an option. So yeah, useful for piping things into it, or just opening the interface and then putting something inside. So there's that. There is also a trash can that is portable as well. So if you are on the go, you don't want to constantly break and place this block, you can just open this up, no problem, chuck something in, and you're good to go. But yeah, that's pretty much it for part 1. In part 2 we'll cover things like the conveyor belts, cursed dirt, the other type of items and such, and so on. Thanks so much for watching, and goodbye.